on a Thursday, which means now until the end of the show, our man Andrew DiCecco is in studio. We have Phillies topics still on the table for you. Our question regarding the Phillies. We'll get back to the Davis on a text line on this, and we got to get an update on the poll of the day brought to us by Dr. Avidan Appel. Should the Phillies be big spenders when the time comes? Yesterday, listening to Unfiltered, Bill Colarulo and Ricky Bowe immediately saying, no, do not trade for Tarek Skubal. At one point, Bill Colarulo said, I don't want to give up on Andrew Painter, which I laughed at outwardly. In my car, driving Carlos the Civic, I laughed saying, give up on Painter. You're not giving up on Painter like, hey, let's just release this guy. It's you would potentially package him in a trade for one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball who's unfortunately hurt right now. It's not giving up on a prospect or giving up on Andrew Painter. It's moving on from Painter for one of the best pitchers in baseball.
I'm fascinated by it. I was thinking concussion protocol for both of them.
Maybe.
But I don't know. We don't have a team doctor that can actually dictate it.
We have Andrew DiCecco, though.
Well, we have somebody with some great insights.
Andrew, can you explain to me why Bill would say, I don't want to give up on Andrew Painter for Tarek Skubal?
Yeah, I'll get to that in a second, but I just want to say good morning, guys. And Johnny the K, you know that I kind of post and ghost on social media, but I did happen to see your video on Instagram, and well-deserved. Congratulations to you. And for those who don't know, John really lobbied to get me involved with this show. Oh, yeah. He saw something in me some years ago, and so if you're not happy with this Thursday 2-hour sit-in, blame him.
Yes.
But, John, I appreciate all the support you've shown me and the tutelage over the years, so thanks, my man.
You're the best.
That's wonderful.
You're the best.
Now tell us
I'm a selfish bastard. That's why I wanted. He has great insights. He has great stuff to bring to the table. I'm a selfish guy. So
right.
That's what it is.
When
I didn't do it for you. I did it for me.
When I first met John, and I love it because you are honest about it. I've met John, and then you and I went out to lunch because you treated everybody, which was amazing. John goes, hey, I'm going to really work with you and really try to help you because I see value in you. If I don't see value in you.
Yeah, he said, I don't mean to be flippant, but I don't endorse everybody. Yeah. And so if I see something in you, it's legitimate.
Yeah, because we help him in the long run, which is you're smart to do that. It's flippant,
sort of like
smart.
It's sort of like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, pretty much. All it does is tell me I stink.
It's like a radio pyramid. Hey, you got to go to lunch too. What the hell are you talking about?
Now, John has always said, he goes, selfishly, I'm doing this for me.
Yeah.
I do say that. I'm very honest about it.
And you're honest about it. You don't hide from it.
I'm very honest about it. I say, I don't invest. I'm honest about it. I do not invest my time in people that I don't feel invest the same energy back.
Sure.
And I try. And if I feel I don't get energy back from people, I pretty much ignore them.
Yeah.
I mean, it might seem flippant, but that's the way it is.
Well, here we are.
Look,
here we all
guys are great.
Here we all are.
You're awesome, dudes.
All right.
So to your point, I'm not with Bill on that one. I'm with Bill on a lot of things.
Well, Ricky's out well-reasoned.
On it too. Well,
that's your Fogo guy right there.
Yeah, that's my Bash brother. But I'm sorry, I can't go with that. If you have a chance to add a premier talent like that, you don't think twice. You don't hold on to that Andrew Painter hope that he's going to turn into any semblance of the player that you would be getting. So, I can't sign off on that.
Andrew Painter could be a 10-year starter in Major League Baseball. I'll tell you right now, he's never going to have a season that Tarek Skubal can have. He's never going to. And I know that now.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking
June
about
4th.
Skubal. Yeah, I'm not bypassing that in the hopes that Andrew Painter turns into.
Dude, I was stunned. I was stunned when I was driving yesterday. I think I was going to pick up Coop from daycare, and I heard him say that. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about, bro?" You can't. Meanwhile, he wants Austin Matthews.
I mean, it just exactly
tee him up for that one.
That's too much. Don't get me started on that one.
All right, AJ's traded. It happened. First, your takeaway on the compensation period, the fact that they were still able to get a first-round pick despite him clearly not wanting to be here, the fifth-round pick in next year's draft. What did you make of the trade when it went down?
Yeah, I thought it was a favorable return for the Eagles to get a first-round pick for a receiver who's going to be 29 years old. You probably have some lingering questions about his long-term effectiveness when it comes to health. And it also worked out for the Patriots as well. They got their top receiver that they've long coveted, and presumably they view him as the missing piece that's going to get them back and push them over the hump to winning a Super Bowl. But I thought the Eagles got really good value. This was a foregone conclusion, and I think I remember talking to you guys when I was at the NFL Scouting Combine that I came back from that, and I felt pretty strongly that
it was happening,
that it was going to happen, and I pretty much remained with that stance since. But it just felt like an untenable situation for both sides, and now the Eagles are able to move on, and it is a big loss to lose a top receiver like A.J. Brown. You don't easily replace that, no matter how well, and I do believe that Howie Roseman has done a nice job this offseason collecting a wide variety of wide receivers, speed receivers, big body receivers, guys that run routes with razor-sharp precision, but they're pieces, and you have to see how those pieces ultimately fit. A.J. Brown, when healthy and when operating at peak levels and nothing else affecting him on the field, he's top 8 receiver in football. So that's hard production to replace. So it doesn't make it any easier as you're transitioning to a new offense.
Tell me the number one thing that you think the Eagles will miss in their offense because of A.J. Brown being gone, and the number one thing that you think that A.J. Brown brought to the table that they will be able to replace.
Great questions. I would say his body type, the attention that he commands. He's almost automatic on those slant patterns, running after the catch. He's an alpha on the outside, so he kind of imposes his will on defensive backs. I think back to his game against Emmanuel Forbes, who was a first-round corner for the Washington Commanders a few years ago, and A.J. pretty much, he broke him. He was never the same after that. The Steelers game. He scored 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. This is just a player that no matter how you defend him, he finds a way to make a play, and teams had to account for that. Now, I do believe that Devontae Smith is well-equipped to be a top receiver. I think he stands to benefit more in this new-look offense than any offensive player that the Eagles have. But in terms of what I don't know that they'll miss, John, that was the other part of your question?
Like, what do you think that they will be able to replace? Not that they're not going to miss him, but you think that they'll be able to replace that he brought to the table?
So, in theory, they should be able to replace the production as a collective because I'm expecting them to facilitate the ball to a number of different receivers, which in theory should make the offense move a little bit more cohesively. But until you see it manifest on the field, that's just a theory. It's not something that we know is going to happen. But that's the expectation that I have. They're going to involve Dontavian Wicks. They're going to find a way to really involve Devontae Smith even more so than they have. And Mekhi Lemon, of course, should be a volume-based slot receiver. And then you have Hollywood Brown, who can get vertical. And again, that's just the idea of it. He hasn't done that in his career. But I think when you take the sum of all the parts, that's kind of what my logic is there.
So I know you. You're not very active online, and God bless you, because there has been
it's not productive.
By the way, he stole the car.
You stole.
Well, I don't even know. See that? I don't even know what you guys are talking
there's
about.
There's a rumor that Hassan Reddick either he stole it or had somebody steal A.J. Brown's car because they found it in Camden, and that's where Hassan Reddick's from. There's the masseuse thing. There's a million rumors out there as to why A.J. Brown's no longer with the Eagles.
I can pick a lock. I can't hotwire a car.
Let me ask you this, because you said you believed it was an untenable situation. Like at some point, you reached to that point. Did you ever have that feeling during the season last year? That it was heading in that direction?
Yeah, I did. I did. It's hard to come back from that when you have someone who's clearly not happy with the offense's functionality, and the offenses largely look the same. So it's hard. I would imagine it's hard to convince A.J. Brown that the offense is going to evolve and change and compel him to kind of lock in and be a part of this. But the way that the season ended, especially in that fashion, he didn't have a good showing against the 49ers. We haven't, as a media corps, we haven't talked to him since December 9th, really. It was December 8th, the game against the Chargers, but the media availability was at midnight, so December 9th. And so we never really got a chance to hear his point of view on things. And based off of how things were left, it just didn't feel like that was something that was going to be tenable.
Did you watch the Maria Taylor podcast? Did you hear his media availability?
I caught a little bit of it, yeah. It's just, I made sure I listened to his press conference in New England.
There's just so much from AJ, too, where he almost made it seem like he did nothing wrong. He said, look, the social media stuff, I could have been better with that.
He did take ownership of that he regrets how he did some of those things.
But
after the Tampa game, he said he was wrong.
But other than
he
that,
acknowledged that before.
He's thrilled to be gone. And one of my biggest issues is, all right, so when did this start to impact you on the field last year? And the amount of times we've talked about the great teammate that is A.J. Brown, how everybody loves him and all that kind of stuff, I would imagine at some point, if you're one of his teammates, and I've used Landon Dickerson as an example, a guy that was clearly banged up. We all know he was very hurt last year.
Mm-hmm.
Walking onto the field, and it's like, all right, this guy's not playing well because his head's not necessarily in it because he's upset, but I'm still giving it my all, and I have like one leg right now. I can only imagine that it was untenable, not just because of AJ's likes and dislikes of this situation. I would have to imagine there's some players in that locker room that are like, yeah, I like the guy and all, but he's acting like I'm going to war, and he's just kind of there.
While I know I agree with you, and while you hear a lot of glowing endorsements from players like Devontae and Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, who, by the way, they both illustrated how much AJ has helped build their confidence and challenge them in practice. He was calling Cooper DeJean All-Pro Coop before it even happened. So that's kind of I think, one branch of his leadership style. But you'd be hard-pressed to find a roster that has all 70 players that like each other, like 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. So I'm sure there were frustrations. It's not going to be a universal, warm and fuzzy feeling. But I can't speak to who was frustrated here and there. But it's when you have 70 players on a roster, I'm sure that didn't resonate particularly well with everyone.
And two is the idea is that it's not a there's guys too that you can love a teammate and you cannot love some of their antics.
And there were a lot of antics last year.
You can love the guy and not love some of the antics and not love some of the parts of it, as Joe Santoliquito told us. But universally, as Joe told us, like pretty much universally, like loved the guy.
All right, so I'm glad you bring up Joe. Because earlier I asked John and Connor this question about 40 minutes ago, and I'm curious to get your answer. You're inside that locker room all the time, right? Mm-hmm. You're down at the, what is it called now? The
Jefferson Health Training Complex.
The Jeff, yeah. So you're around this team all the time. Could there be, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not doing the yell in the microphone, hot take radio thing. Could there at any point be some sort of rift inside the locker room in 2026? Because Joe Santoliquito, who you just brought up, John, called in the day after the trade and said, look, from what he has gathered, if he did an anonymous poll throughout the Eagles roster, there would be a decent amount of people that would say, we wish it was Jalen who was out and not AJ. We all know you can't just trade the franchise quarterback.
As far as popularity of the people, his teammates.
And so do you believe that, let's say the offense is more of the same, where we're questioning the passing offense, and maybe AJ has a couple good weeks early on in New England? Could that cause some sort of rift or drama or issues inside the locker room early on in the season?
The reason why I'm inclined to say no is, one, because of the Eagles' culture and the leaders that they have, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, Jordan Davis, and Devontae Smith, and those players. But when you're in the midst of a season, and let's say in your scenario things aren't going according to plan and they're sort of spiraling a little bit, you're not worried about what someone else is doing on for another team and another organization. You're worried about what you need to do that week in that lead up to the game to make the offense better. And I think that's the natural flow of a season. You're not necessarily looking back or
but let's not act like Jalen Hurts hasn't had his share of stories pop up.
Oh, there would be frustration in general.
Yeah,
but I don't know that it would be, well, the guy that we used to have is doing this over there, and now we're not. I think there would be frustration, of course, naturally, but I don't know that AJ, that they're going to be fixating on what AJ's doing over there, and then looking at what they're maybe not doing and how the offense could be unfulfilled.
What was clear though is that that when you heard Jordan Mailata's comments the other day, and you heard you heard Jalen Hurts' comments. Jalen Hurts was very. He has been almost like. The way he talks about Sean Mannion is very, very strange. Like he's very effusive in his praise of Sean Mannion. Like the idea of I get to go back and forth with somebody who can match me and everything like that. What Jordan Mailata the other day was over the top. You know, if I found the three smartest guys in NovaCare and locked them in a room, it would be Sean Mannion and himself. Like that's like
yeah. I mean that was he was also really effusive in his praise for Uar Bernard. Like I think that was a little strong.
No,
probably.
but I mean, but the one thing is they never did this stuff for Kevin Patullo. Like they never had the back, and to me, it almost seemed a little backhanded. Like it's like we're so excited to have this guy. It actually puts more pressure. It actually puts more pressure on Mannion and this offense to produce.
That's a great point, John. And I think actually Ricky posed this question to me on Monday night when he and I were on from 6 to 7. And he said, who now feels the most pressure in the absence of A.J. Brown? And I don't know that it's just one person or one player. Jalen Hurts, there's a lot of pressure on Jalen Hurts.
I think he's number one if I was ranking.
You take away his top receiver is no longer here. But then also Sean Mannion and trying to reimagine this offense and modernize it. There's a lot of pressure on him, a considerable amount, I would say. Devontae Smith as well, stepping into the role that A.J. previously held, and now you're commanding double teams. Now, Devontae has been a top receiver before in 2021, and I think he's very much grown and evolved and taken his game to another level since then. But it is pressure. It's you're now seeing things from a different vantage point. So there's it's sort of a ripple effect on the back of that trade.
All right, let's check the Davis on a text line because we have Phillies talk on the table as well. I was just scanning YouTube. The whole Skubal conversation, we're not saying like trade for Tarek Skubal. I was just shocked that Unfiltered was so adamant against it, and it led to the prospect conversation because Bill said he doesn't want to give up on Andrew Painter so early. I don't care about anyone that has an ERA over 5, and I don't care of anybody that's never played in the major leagues. If you're a prospect, you are a trade chip. In my opinion, every single season, if you are a team that has World Series aspirations, every prospect is a trade chip. Every young player is a trade chip. Hell, Justin Crawford is a trade chip. Like I'm going to keep it 100. Like every young player could be involved in a trade for me if it means getting better at a certain position. But we also understand that this team is getting older. They're also very expensive already. Let's use Mike Trout as an example. They trade for Mike Trout. That's another big contract that you're adding to your baseball team. So our question for people at 610-632-0975 is whether or not the Phillies should be aggressive big buyers when the time comes for the MLB trade deadline, or if they should sort of hold on to what they have because they got to worry about the next era of Phillies baseball. What do we have on the Davis on a text line that will update you on the poll?
Mike from Virginia weighs in and says the Phillies have to spend. If they had a hope of moving even one of their big contracts, I'd say they should sell and rebuild, but they don't, so they have to go for it. Dombrowski already went all in with these contracts, whether he thinks it or not, so damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead.
And it's damn the torpedoes.
Damn the torpedoes, man.
We're going to go with it.
Andrew, I think you, over the years, have been more like me with prospects, right?
No, because you're more scrap the prospects if you have a chance to add it.
I'm aggressive, yeah.
For me, I've always subscribed to the belief that prospects need time to grow and develop, and they should be afforded that. But this would be a unique situation, and if you have a chance to add a premier talent to your team and kind of push your chips into the middle and optimize this window that you have to do it. And I don't think you think twice about it. But normally, I do believe that, let's say Justin Crawford was going through a rough patch. I mean, give the guy an opportunity to work through those growing pains.
I'm not looking to ship Justin Crawford.
No. I'm just giving an example.
On the table
normally, I believe that you should let players work through growing pains and those challenges because that's part of the startup cost, right?
Yeah.
But in this situation,
I love that term.
In this situation, I think you pounce and you don't think about Andrew Painter in that way. You have to try to better your baseball team and try to really maximize the window that you have in front of you.
All right, update us on the poll. Connor Poll of the Day brought to us by Dr. Avedon Appel and Iron Mountain Men's Health. The poll is strong for 4 hours every single morning thanks to Dr. Avedon Appel. What do we got?
Should the Phillies be all in big spenders at the trade deadline this year? 86% of our responders are saying yes, go for it. Only 14% are saying no, keep the prospects.
Man, how people have changed. Welcome to
You're not kidding.
Welcome to the right side of history.
Well, different years, a different scenario.
Welcome to
No. But it's
thing. The team has been the same thing for the last 3 years. They have not had a right-handed bat to replace Rhys Hoskins since he got hurt in spring training of 2023. It is June of 2026, and they still have not even come close.
Right.
I mean, remotely close to his production.
What year is it? It's the same thing.
Adolis Garcia sucks.
It's not the same thing. You're seeing just the Phillies picture. There's a lockout looming. People may look at that as be more aggressive. That changes how other teams go about it. It changes the whole salary cap structure of the sport. It's not the same thing.
I want to know, that's what I most want to ask Tim Kirchin about.
Yes, how they will be.
Because I do believe it's going to keep some teams away from spending. This is the lockout.
I thought it would have kept the Phillies away from giving JT Realmuto a 3-year contract. It didn't. I don't know what's going on through teams' minds, or maybe just Dave Dombrowski's mind. It's a good question that we will ask because Tim Kirchin will join us coming up at 9:05. All right, coming up next, more Eagles talk. More so the 2026 Eagles now. All right, A.J. Brown, we got Andrew's thoughts on it. Yesterday, we talked about whether or not the Eagles' offense will improve in 2026. John Kincaid said they will significantly.
Significantly.
What does Andrew DiCecco think? We'll find out next. Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's 8:30 here on Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic. Our man Andrew DiCecco in studio with us. Coming up in an hour from now. I am so excited. Have you guys experienced the new phenomenon online, 82-0?
I have. I've gone 82-0.
John?
I have not.
All right, and Andrew, I know you have.
Yeah, you already know I haven't.
I can't wait. In an hour's time, you guys will try it for the first time.
Okay.
There is a new.
Okay, I'm not going to Google it or anything.
There's
I
a
didn't know what you're talking about.
new game that my son does not even know I exist anymore.
Is this like is this sort of like an Immaculate Grid thing?
Yes,
Similar, yeah.
but it beats it.
Because I'm not good at Immaculate Grid. I don't do. I think I've finished that thing a handful of times.
Yeah.
I do well. I do well in that.
You
Dude,
do? Well, I'm not shocked with you.
And they're
Whoever
all,
programmed you did a great job.
whoever created 82-0, somebody saw all the success. They already made a football version of it. I can't wait.
Well, 82-0 tends to me that I'm leaning towards it being like basketball or hockey.
It is basketball.
Okay,
yes.
but now next year for the NHL they'll have to make it 84-0 because hockey's going to 84.
That's right. Because every league is saying let's add games.
Let's
and not
add
subtract
games where these and the NBA players are saying we're too lazy to show up for 60.
Yeah,
Money.
Yeah, that's
Lazy.
all it's about.
Lazy.
All right, so Andrew, yesterday we got into this discussion, and we'll get back to our text line on the Phillies prospects conversation and trade deadlines and everything. The offense. John Kincaid believes the offense will improve significantly. It's the word that he used yesterday because we got into a discussion about how the 2026 Eagles, we can say very similar things about them like we did going into the 2024 season, where we said, man, if that defense just goes from 30th to like 15th, they're dangerous because of how good the offense is. We can now say, just reverse, if that offense, specifically the passing offense, can go from 30th to like 15th with this great defense that they have, they're very dangerous. We had a poll yesterday. Majority of our voters believe the Eagles will be a top 10 offense next year. I'm not there yet.
I'm not quite there. Yeah,
I need to see a lot, but John believes they can improve significantly. Can you explain to Andrew why?
I am of the belief, first of all, that the floor is just so low from where they were last year. It's just such a terrible floor that it's not going to be hard to look much better. A 3-point a game difference, which doesn't seem like a lot, a 3-point a game difference can get them to where I think they're going to be, like 12, 13, 14.
Okay.
And so, and that's 3 points a game. And to me, that is about sustained drives, less 3-and-outs and everything. So I've been going down the nerd hole of watching the Green Bay offense and watching how they distributed the ball the last few years, the Matt LaFleur offense, and spreading that ball around and everything. And I'm saying the Eagles have a better offensive line if healthy. And I'm assuming that they will be healthier, and I'm hearing some good things there. I think the Eagles have overall better offensive talent. And so I'm thinking there'll be less 3-and-outs, there'll be more, and that they're going to get that 3 points a game.
So, yeah, it's going to be predicated on the health of the offensive line, in my estimation. I believe that if they are, or at least some semblance of health, better than last season, Saquon Barkley is a player that I think is going to benefit hugely from this new offense, especially where they're going to be doing more of the outside zone stretch plays, which I think will really cater to the offensive line with their athleticism and things of that nature. But I do have questions about the passing game. And this is a timing-based offense where the ball's got to come out quickly and on time. You're going to see a lot more middle-of-the-field utilization. And they just lost their top receiver.
Right.
So while I think they've done a nice job bringing in other players to kind of offset that, until you see how they fit into the overall equation, it's just an idea, right? And someone like Dontavian Wicks, he's going to take on a much larger role than he ever has in his career. Is he equipped for that? We're going to find out. We have no way of answering that now. But there's just so much newness to this. Sean Mannion and the feel for play calling. That could take, a month or so. We just don't know. So because of all those questions that I'm coming in with, I need to see it before I believe it, and I can't kind of go into it as maybe as overly bullish as I would be if there was some more continuity there.
Yeah, I was in the minority yesterday, and I get it. Like, nobody wants to go into a season not all that confident. It's just I need to see a lot of things. Like, I don't think the offense will be an anchor this year. Last year, they're like, if it wasn't for that defense last year, they're a sub 500 team. We've talked about that a lot. Like, they sucked. The passing offense was so bad last year that if they had to play from behind, they weren't going to win any games. Like, it was that bad. I don't think it's going to be that bad this year. To John's point, the historic rate of 3-and-outs that they were going on in like week 12, right? Like, it was like week 12, week 13. They were one of the worst 3-and-out teams in the history of the National Football League. I don't think it's going to be that bad either. But when I saw a lot of our listeners say top 10 offense, I was like, I'm not there, man.
I don't know how someone could go to top 10. Like, that's way too.
We saw defense.
That's pretty strong.
We saw defense.
Strong.
Maybe they see Sean Mannion like Vic Fangio, right? Where Vic Fangio went from 30th ranked defense, and they also drafted Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean.
Yes.
And became one of the best defenses in the league.
And they had Jalen Carter and
Maybe people see Sean Mannion as that, but to your point, Andrew, losing A.J. Brown, I think, is going to be a big deal. I think there's so much silliness right now online that we're almost forgetting how good the player is. There are now people believing that he was throwing games on purpose last year. Yeah. Like, this guy he wants to go to Canton. So I can't imagine that he goes, I'm going to throw games, because that impacts his stats, by the way. Losing A.J. Brown's a big deal. And I think that's getting lost right now because of just how much this sucked, how insane the stories have been since then. And now we're going to root heavily against the guy. A lot of people are, because we don't want to see him succeed. I think he's going to still be good. And the Eagles just lost that.
You illustrated that very well, and I'm glad that you framed it that way, because I do believe that AJ has some good years left in him, some elite production, and you can't just swap out a premier talent like AJ at receiver and expect there not to be a drop off. The Eagles are not a better team today than they were a couple days ago when AJ Brown was still on the roster. Anytime you take out an elite receiver, there's going to be a drop off. Now, this is going, to John's point, this will be an offense, if properly executed, that will involve a lot of different pieces. And with the timing-based nature of it, you're going to see maybe less of the explosives and more quick hitters, keeping the offense on schedule. So I do believe that if executed properly, you're going to see far fewer 3-and-outs than you saw last season. So I am expecting there to be a significant upgrade. I don't know if I could put it maybe as strongly as John did, but yeah, I do think you're going to see some drastic
Here's what I want to
improvements.
see. I don't want to see, and we saw it last year, the scratching and clawing to first downs. Like, it was like 2nd and 12, 3rd and 6, 4th and 1 tush push, 5 times a drive.
Yeah, they were behind the sticks very frequently.
I can't see that. Like, I need to see, and part of it was getting the play in late, right? That was an issue last year. Jalen not having enough time to scan the field. Jalen having his own shortcomings, because people like to ignore that. He does have his own shortcomings.
Like, people were arguing yesterday on Middays with Marks. People were arguing, saying that they believed that Jalen was a better passer than Drake May. Now, look,
that's no.
I mean, like, I'm like, it's okay to say Jalen could be a better quarterback than Drake May, if you believe that. I can tell you this. I had yesterday an argument with Harry Douglas, with Harry
Is
and
that
Freddie.
right?
That Harry Douglas was talking about how great Drake May is. And I said, well, Harry, I've seen Jalen Hurts on the biggest stage in football twice.
Yeah.
Ball out. And I saw Drake May pee his pants on. But if you're talking about a pure passer, Drake May's a better passer. That doesn't mean he's a better quarterback.
Yes.
Better passer.
Exactly. He's a better passer.
He's a better passer.
But there are certain intangibles that Jalen has, such as the short memory, the ability to rise to the occasion that you can't quantify, that I think makes a player special.
Ding.
And I think that needs to be taken into account when you're looking at both quarterbacks. Now, is he a better passer than Drake May?
No.
And I don't think you're going to find many who would say yes.
And yesterday, and Sean Brace, who has Jalen guy in his profile, he goes, it's okay to just admit you can be a Jalen guy like I am in my profile, and you could just admit that he's not as good a passer as Drake.
I love Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I also believe he's not this top 4 or 5 quarterback that a lot of people think that he is.
I have him around 8.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, see, I don't do rankings.
I know you don't.
You guys know
Yeah.
I don't do rankings. I just base it off the eye test, and he's a proven winner with intangibles that can't be measured.
Yeah.
And because of that, he has that extra X factor that can elevate an offense.
Handling this city, handling media, all these things.
Those things that you just outlined are it's not everybody can't do that.
It's not popping up on a Madden rating, right? Like when you scroll through Madden ratings, it's not handling media in Philadelphia. That's not one of the attributes. But if it was, Jalen's pretty good at it.
I think he handles the pressure of being the face of a franchise and the intense scrutiny that comes with that better than most athletes, if not all, that I've seen come through this city. And that should be taken into account because that's no small feat, guys.
But it's easier for some people to just say he stinks and boom.
It's amazing.
I think there's better quarterbacks, but it doesn't mean he stinks.
Yeah, to say that is lazy analysis, and it's also inaccurate.
By the way, something you brought up yesterday, how after the you had said how Dallas, after the A.J. Brown trade, you had said how Dallas, the money
odds shifted a bit.
Odds shifted. The odds shifted again.
Other way or closer?
A lot of money yesterday going the way of the Eagles.
All right, that's good.
The Eagles now, if you wake up on the Vegas Strip this morning, the Eagles plus 140 to be the first place team in the division. Dallas plus 240.
Okay.
So they shifted the odds to make it that, Dallas has now closed the gap with the Eagles.
Which I didn't agree with.
And the money yesterday piled in on the Eagles saying, no, they didn't.
Yeah.
The Eagles.
Yeah, not quite, but I think Dallas is going to be markedly improved compared to last season.
They got your boys at D.C. who's going to fix some things.
He's definitely going to fix some things. It might take another year, but they have some pieces.
I think there's multiple plus 500 teams in the division this year, and I think there's some other teams that are close.
How many multiple? I see 2.
2, Eagles, Cowboys.
Eagles, Cowboys. That's all I see, too.
But I see the Giants and Commanders pushing for that mid-5, right around 500.
I do not.
They've added a lot of structure in the offseason. I like the way they've assembled their coaching staff.
All right, coming up next, more baseball talk. John Kincaid has reminded us that the Phillies are in a better place now than where they were in 22 and 2023 to start the month of June. We're going to point something else out next as well. It's Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All right, it's 8:47 here on Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DiCecco in studio with us. Little Phillies talk here. We've been having a lot of it today. Our question for you is whether or not the Phillies should be aggressive buyers, specifically for a right-handed power bat, because stop me if you've heard me say before they need one. They do. So, John, you've been mentioning a couple of times, you said it again today, that the Phillies on June 4th in 2026.
Yeah, when they wake up on June 4th, 2026.
They're in a better spot than where they were in 22 and 23, where they got to the World Series and got to the NLCS.
9 games.
Yeah.
Better.
The other thing I'm going to...
That's huge. That's huge.
It is big. But the other thing I'll point out is the rest of the league is also having similar issues in terms of records. The Phillies, if they win today, Zach Wheeler,
You're feeling good about Zach Wheeler.
I'm feeling pretty good.
Did you selfishly want to take your son to the game, or did you want to see Zach Wheeler pitch?
I was going today regardless.
Okay, that's good.
And then my son wanted to go, so we're going. The Phils, if they beat the Padres today, they are one of the 3 wildcard teams. They jump right back into it. I know it's super early to be looking at
I said to you,
standings.
I want them by the All-Star break to be firmly in position in one of the wild card positions.
Yeah.
And I say firmly in position means you're like 3 games up.
Yeah, and by the way, the teams that are ahead of you right now, there's 3 teams tied that are the 3 wild card teams. The San Diego Padres, who if you beat them, you're a half game back of them. So you jump them today. The St. Louis Cardinals, who have lost 7 of their last 10. And the Pittsburgh Pirates, who, does anybody believe the Pirates are going to be there? Like,
no.
They're not.
I don't.
No, but let's say you're still sort of middling and you haven't really broken a ton of ground at that stage. How does that affect how you view and approach the trade deadline?
Right, but the fact that they're on the rise right now, you're going, all right, maybe this is the team that you can buy into, which they should have the last couple of years, and they did with Duran last year, but no more pea-footing around.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
I got you. Yeah.
Let's go. Like, I'm tired of the prospects.
Can I ask you who you're trading?
Whoever they want.
I'm asking who you're trading. Like, who are these prospects?
You have players to move. You can move Gage Wood. You can move Dante Nori. You can move Arun Escobar.
Well, a lot of people are looking at Dante Nori going, yeah, great potential batting average guy with some speed with no pop.
He'd be welcomed right at home in the Phillies outfield.
You're looking at Gage Wood. You have no idea yet, but I mean,
there's a lot of
people love Gage Wood.
Yeah,
I would.
Yeah, they love Gavin Floyd too. Back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but
I know Keaton Anthony's getting some love, and he's blocked by Bryce Harper. So, like, you know, there's guys, and you know these trades in baseball. These trades happen all the time, where you're like, all right, who are these guys? It's just not we as in me. A lot of people fall in love with prospects without knowing any of these guys. Like I saw, again, our man Stanley earlier today on our YouTube chat that was like, you know, go to Lehigh, watch the prospects. Well, there's 3 of the Phillies' top 30 prospects. There are 3 that are in AAA. That's not good. Everybody else is AA or single A, and that's normal, I think, in Major League Baseball farm systems. But it's not like there's many ready to impact the Phillies now guys.
Right.
And we're seeing that kind of play out with Painter and Crawford. I'm not ready to give up on these guys by any means, but if a team said, hey, you got to throw on Andrew Painter, I'm not saying,
I would.
Oh, no, can't do that.
No, I'm fine.
I would do that in a heartbeat.
Well, it depends who you're getting back. I wouldn't move him unless you're getting a controllable starter
Yes,
back.
it has to be. Well, wait. You have to get a starter back for Painter?
Dude. You don't have any organizational depth at starting pitcher. None.
You have money.
Alan Ronhell is starting for this team if you trade Andrew Painter.
You have money.
No, you could go get a starting pitcher at the trade deadline. You could get a back end of the rotation starting pitcher who, by the way, you could probably get a veteran guy who can give you exact same ERA that Andrew Painter's giving you.
Right, but we're talking about
back on better.
The future a little bit here.
No, I understand that. I don't think you can worry about that right now. I think you got to worry about 2026. I think you just got to worry about 2026.
Your window's closing.
And Andrew Painter has to be used to bring you the bat if you're going to do it. If somebody wants Painter and they believe in Painter, and by the way, I think the stock is down. He's already had the major surgery. He hasn't bounced back the way you're supposed to bounce back. I would think that could be. I think you got to worry about 2026.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Colby on our YouTube chat, Tunis logic, the prospects aren't good, so everyone will want them in a trade. I'm not saying the prospects aren't good. What I'm telling you is I am always of the belief of proven versus unknown. All right? I know that there are players at the major league level that have been able to play in the major leagues and be successful in the major leagues. I know nothing about these guys. Teams know a lot more about prospects than I do. All right? They study these guys, all that stuff. So much still has to go right, though. Health. I mean, look at the top prospect for the Phillies right now. The dude's getting a back surgery. He's 21 years old.
Yeah.
Like, so much has to go right. It's why I'm not totally against the Les Snead idea of things with the Rams. Like,
no, you and Les Snead would be best friends.
Like, yeah, first-round picks are important.
I can tell you, I know both of you. You'd be best friends.
I can either draft this first-round pick that we hope becomes Myles Garrett, or we get Myles Garrett.
Right, but
I think the Rams are unique in that. they're the exception, not the rule.
But
normally, if you're trying to build your team for sustainable success, you have to have something of a foundation to build on.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying these prospects they could become something. I don't know that, and right now with the money that you're spending on Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto, Kyle Schwarber, Trey Turner, Zach Wheeler. By the way, I don't want to waste what Christopher Sanchez is doing. I'm not worried about 2030. I'm sorry. I'm worried about 2026. I'm not even worried about 2027 right now. I'm worried about 2026.
That's fair. I just don't think you'll have to include Painter to go get a bat. Like, I don't think you will. They have enough in the minor league system that they'll be able to go make that move.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see what teams value, man.
Yeah, I mean, I got to see what teams think of our prospects compared to what else other teams have on the market available to teams, because our prospects aren't that good.
You might not have to worry about other teams. It's going to be really interesting to see the dynamic with the lockout.
Well, Tim Kirkchin joins us coming up next. He'll join us at 9:05, and we'll ask him straight up, like, what will be the strategy? What has he heard as of June the strategy will be for Major League Baseball teams? Is it more so the players that are on expiring contracts that they trade for? Because remember, Dave Dombrowski is a big believer of trading for players that you would have under team control. He's not really a trade for a rental guy. Maybe trade for a rental is a bigger move this year because of the lockout coming up. So we'll talk to Tim Kirkchin coming up next, more about that. And, like, can they win with this outfield? It's pretty bad. Kincaid and Sal Tunis, 97.5, The Fanatic.